So I'm currently studying my master's in electrical and computer engineering in Dublin City University, Ireland. And I know that this might come as a bit of shock to some of my viewers because I haven't uploaded a video in like 2 months now, and there wasn't any video leading up to me moving to Ireland for my master's. And my content mostly has been on cybersecurity, so I know like most of you will be confused. I mean, you are making cybersecurity videos. Why are you doing a master's in electrical and computer engineering? Yeah, I'm going to talk about why I made that decision in another video. But in this video, I just want to focus on my Irish student visa application process. So basically, the application process for Ireland student visa. That's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So stay tuned and subscribe so you can see the next video on why I am doing a master's in electrical and computer engineering when I publish it. Okay, so I officially completed my bachelor's in electrical and electronics engineering from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, on the 27th of September 2025. And immediately after completing my bachelor's, it became evident to me that I needed to further my studies. I needed to go for a master's. Now, before I completed my bachelor's, I had taken tons of professional certifications in my area of specialization. My area of specialization is communications engineering. Yeah, so my bachelor's degree is in electrical and electronics, but I specialized, focused on communications engineering. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so I had been strategically building my skills and my resume in this area, hoping to get like an internship or a graduate program immediately I was done. But they weren't just forthcoming. Like it was almost impossible to like get like internships or work in like the telecommunications company. Yeah, so I guess I thought to myself, well, maybe I need to get more training, get a higher degree. Maybe that would help because uh, it seems like there's a lot more competition now. So I then decided, okay, I'm going to go for a master's in uh, Dublin, Ireland, in my area of specialization. So it's one thing to want to pursue a master's degree abroad, and it's another thing to find a sponsor. And I am eternally grateful for my parents for sponsoring my master's degree program, because even though I did get a scholarship, I still had to pay 80% of my tuition fees. So yeah, there are scholarships in Ireland, but most times you're still going to have to pay the majority of your tuition fees. So if you plan to come here, I think you should also put that into perspective when you're planning your application. Now, before I applied for my Irish student visa, I had already previously applied for a study visa in two different countries, Canada and the US, and both of them were denied, obviously, because I'm in Ireland now. Um, I'm not going to go into details about what happened or why they were denied because they deserve a whole YouTube video of their own. But I'm just saying this to give you context so you can know the state of things before my application was made. So I applied for my Irish student visa on the 12th of October 2025, roughly 3 months after my US student visa rejection. And generally, the 2025 and that whole period in general wasn't really looking up for me. I faced a lot of setbacks in my professional and personal life. It just seemed like things weren't really moving forward for me. It just seemed like I had hit a brick wall because I was just not doing well or growing in areas that I normally grew in. So I was heading into my Irish student visa application scared and unsure and uncertain, right? Because everything prior to that hadn't gone well. But yeah, thank God for my parents and the encouragement and some of my friends too. Yeah, they were like, no, don't worry, you can do this, just apply. Because of your currently facing setbacks or things aren't really going well for you doesn't mean that your application is going to be denied or something bad is going to happen. And that really helped me during that process. But that's all, by the way. It's just to give you some context of the state of things and my mindset before my application. So the documents I submitted for my Irish student visa application are as follows, and I'm going to call them from my PC so that I do not miss anyone. So the first and the most important document are your financial documents. So you have to submit 6 months bank statement of your sponsor and 6 months and your own 6 months bank statement. Yeah, basically your proof of funds. So you have to have those documents. Very, very important. One of the most, if not the most important things you have to submit. The next thing is the tax certificate of your sponsor. So if your sponsor has a business, like my dad, he had his own stuff, so he submitted his tax certificate. So if your sponsor has a business, you get and submit their tax certificate and every other financial or business document that proves that they own and operate that business legally. That just proves the business is not a fraud. Yeah, and proves that the money that is in your bank statement was acquired legitimately. Yeah, so you need to bring that. Secondly, you need a letter of sponsorship from your sponsor. So basically, whoever is sponsoring you needs to write that, yeah, I am sponsoring this person. This is how much I have. This is why I'm sponsoring him, and I'm going to take care of him for the duration of his education in Ireland. So you need to have that document too. Very, very important. The letter of sponsorship. The next is health insurance for a year. I used SwissCare because I feel they give the best value for money when it comes to healthcare in Europe. Yeah, so I use them. You could use whichever health care, right? Health insurance. Sorry, health insurance. Yeah, I got health insurance for a year, and I use SwissCare. Yeah, so you can use any health insurance provider that you want, provided that they follow the specifications that have been laid down by the Irish immigration authorities. You can find the specifications for the health insurance on their website. So you can just go on the website. I'm going to link it in the description below, and you can look at the things that are required, yeah, that your health insurance should have, and you can then compare it with whatever health insurance scheme or platform you want to use. But personally, I used SwissCare because it's not so expensive and they're still really good. The next is all your academic documents. So if you're from Nigeria, that entails your WAEC certificate that proves that you went to a secondary school, your transcript from your bachelor's program, if you did a bachelor's program, then your master's if you already had a master's. Yeah, just basically just every academic transcript you have, WAEC transcript, certificate, your testimonial, basically everything. Yeah, bundle all that and bring it. Very, very, very important. The second thing is your employment letter. So if you're already working, if you're employed, you should put that in too, and also your pay slip. Yeah, so your employment letter and your pay slip. The next thing is a police character report. You can get this from your state CID. I got the police character report from my state CID. So basically just go to your state CID and get it. It took me like 3 hours. It's not really a long process. It's just a document that clears you, basically, that you haven't done anything wrong or malicious. You get it from your state CID. Next is previous visa denials. So if you had any previous visa denials, you should also bring those documents too. Whenever you have a denial, like I had 2 previous visa denials, I was given a document for each case. So when I was denied in Canada, I was given a document that stated why I was denied. Same thing with the US. My visa application was refused by US immigration authorities, I was also given a document that stated why I was refused. So you have to get those documents color print them or photocopy them and submit. Very important. Yeah. The next is proof of accommodation. So obviously you should have a place you're staying if you're coming to study here. If it's your hostel, yeah, you should bring proof that you've paid for it and you're going to be staying there for the duration of your program. If it's an outside accommodation, if you're living off campus, maybe in like a hostel, or you're renting a place, you should also put that to there. Now you don't need to get something long term immediately, yeah, because I would advise you, yeah, try to get something short term, yeah, then when you come into Ireland you can then go and explore the accommodations available, because there are a lot of scams happening in Ireland, especially in housing. There are a lot of housing scams happening here, so you can just get a hostel. Like me, I paid for a hostel for 2 weeks, and when I came into Ireland, I stayed in the hostel for 2 weeks, and during that period I was physically going to search for houses and accommodation. Yeah, so you can do that. You don't need to get something long term. You can just get a hostel or a hotel, but or an Airbnb, but preferably your duration has to be from 2 to 3 weeks, yeah, to convince the visa officer that you have a place to stay for a suitable amount of time. Very important. The next thing is your admission letter and evidence of fee payment. So when the school has admitted you, they give you something called an admission letter. You should know that, is very obvious. They give you an admission letter, and in that admission letter they state how much you need to pay. Yeah, so when you pay your fees, you should also submit the evidence that you've paid the fees. So my dad paid the fees through bank transfer, so I just got out the transaction sheet and sent it, the e-transaction sheet. I just printed it out and attached it to my application. So however you decide to pay, yeah, whatever method or means you use, just get the receipts, the evidence that you've paid your fees with your admission letter, and add it to your application. Very important. And I have one advice to you also. If you plan to come to Ireland, please try as much as possible to pay your fees in full. I know some schools will tell you, you can pay 50%, then pay the other 50% later. No, right? Getting your Irish student visa approved is very tricky. You have to try your best to convince the visa officer that, hey, I am not going to come here and run away. I'm going to come here and study. And how do you convince him you're going to do that? You convince him by paying your fees in full. Because if your fees are paid in full, obviously you are not running anywhere. You are going to complete your education because you have invested a lot. So if you want your visa to be approved, my number one advice to you is, first of all, have enough funds, and then make sure that your fees are paid in full. That will help you a lot, because the major reason for denials, especially in Ireland, is just proof of funds. Yeah, proof of funds. So you have to show them that you are financially capable to pay your fees, and and take care of yourself while you're here. Very important. The next is your statement of purpose. Yeah, so here you have to state your reason for coming to Ireland. State why you are studying. So if you say, I'm coming to Ireland to study, okay, what are you studying, and why are you studying this course? How does this program or this master's degree you are pursuing relates to your bachelor's degree program and relates to your greater goal? What do you plan to do after getting that master's degree? And one thing I'm going to advise you on here is that always try to link your purpose back home to Nigeria. Don't, in your statement of purpose, say, oh, I'm doing this because I want to get these skills and work for the Irish government and grow the Irish economy and be one of the greatest engineers in Ireland. No, you will get denied. Like the stamp will be very big. So whatever you're doing, link it back to Nigeria. Why are you coming to Ireland? I want to come here. I'm not like I'm not an expert on this. I'm just stating how I did mine. For everything I wrote, for every point I gave, I linked it back to Nigeria. So I'm coming to Ireland to study because it's going to help me to get a job back in Nigeria. I'm studying this program because it's going to help me to get, everything you're saying, just find a way to link it back to Nigeria. That helps. Never say your end goal is to stay here. You're going to get denied, because that is not the purpose of the visa. The purpose of the student visa is for you to come here, study, get the skills, and go back. Yeah, even though I know most of you have other plans. Yeah. So next thing is your AVAT application form and questionnaire, and finally your passport and a colored copy of each. So you're going to submit your passport too, and you're going to submit a colored printed copy, photocopy of each of the pages. And that was very painful for me, because I had like 3 passports. Yeah. And my passports, my newest passport, the one I got recently, was like was 70 pages, I think, and I had to print all those pages out. The same thing with my other 2 passports. So that was like a lot of money, and then it made my file look so big. My file was literally this size. Like, people were looking at me like, this guy, no need you wakakum, no need you want this visa. See how just your file just there. Another thing is that you have to bring 2 copies. So you have to bring originals in one file and photocopies in another file. Then that is a lot. Yeah. So, but it's just how it is when it comes to the island as a student visa application. So you're gonna get all your passports. You're gonna photocopy them in colored, and you're going to submit that with your original passport. So very important. Now, just to make things clear, I am not an immigration officer or an expert in visa applications. I am just someone who wanted to travel to Ireland to study, went through the immigration website, went through the required documents, got them and submitted, and got my visa approved. Yeah, I'm not an expert. I'm going to advise you, to not just take the things I have said or the documents I have listed out as the only things you need to bring. You also have to go to the website. I'm going to put the link in the description. Yeah, go to the website and research for yourself, because everybody's situation might be different. Depending on your own circumstance and situation, you might need to bring more documents. For example, if your sponsor doesn't have his own business, if he's working under somebody, then you need to bring his payslips and not his you need to bring his payslips with his tax certificate if he has any of that. Yeah. And maybe if you have some large sums that aren't accounted for, you have to write about it in your statement of purpose. Yeah. So the things I've listed out are just for my own circumstance, right? So your own circumstances might be different. So I advise you, please go to the website, and you will see all this information there, and you can just read and write down and bring the documents as it relates to your own situation. So one more thing you need to know is that the Irish student visa application processing time is long, like 3, 4, even 5 months long. And I wasn't aware of this, and I was panicking a lot, because I was like, why is this? It's been over 2 months and I haven't heard anything from the embassy. It seems like my application has a problem, and maybe they've denied me. Yeah. So if you're waiting and it's past like 2 months, even 3 months, and you haven't gotten feedback yet, just chill. Don't panic like I did. And as I said earlier, that period wasn't really going so well for me. Things were going a bit off most times. Yeah. So I had this feeling that the visa application process might not really go fine too. And generally during that period, I really wanted a win. I really wanted something positive, something big to just come in for me. And that happened on the 16th of January 2026, when I got my passport from the DHL office in Owerri, and I saw the stamp of approval. And yeah, that was one of the happiest days of my life, if not the happiest day of my life, because finally something positive. Yeah, it's a long story. Like, I have a lot of stories to tell. So I mean, if you want to hear like my personal stories, you can just subscribe, because I plan to like make more of these videos where I just talk about myself and my career, my personal life, my professional life, and put them on YouTube. So if you like stuff like that, you can subscribe. I'm an interesting person, I promise you that. You're gonna enjoy those videos. Yeah. So if you're also planning to come to Ireland to study for like a master's, a bachelor's program, or even a PhD, my advice to you is to come in with a positive mind. Have all your documents in check. Go to the immigration website, look at all the requirements, get them. As long as you have everything they have asked for, appropriate funds, you've paid your school fees, you've gotten health insurance, like everything I have said, the money you have, if you have large sums, you have written about them and discussed them in your statement of purpose. Once you just have everything set, your visa is going to be approved. That's just how Ireland is. Like, I got rejected twice from Canada and the US, and they still took me. Yeah, because all my documents were stainless, right? So that's the same way, and that's the same. That I want you to have like a positive mindset if you plan to come to Ireland, or if you plan to study in Europe in general, or study abroad in general. Yeah, just come in with a positive mindset and have all your documents in check, and yeah, you're going to have a very good result. So that's gonna be it for this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. So to do subscribe.